donut on it.
Alright, welcome back to a new season of FTRL. This is round number 1 of season 22. Now, information is going to come to you, out you thick and fast. First of all, we're at Trial Mountain, but we'll get to that later. This is the season info for season 22. So basically, GT1 is going to be split in between, and GT2 of course, are split into Pro and Pro-Am drivers. The quickest drivers in both divisions being considered as the Pro drivers, the drivers that aren't as quick in Pro-Ams. They were driving different cars, so the Pro drivers in GT1 are driving the BMW, the Pro-Am drivers like myself are driving the Nissan GTR. And to make up a team of 4, just like last season. And just like last season, there will be a Pro-Am and a Pro Championship standings. There'll still be an overall driver standings and a standings for each class. So there'll be and there are points for each. So for example, I could finish 4th in the race, but I could be first out of the Pro-Am driver. So I get 7 points in the Pro-Am standings. These don't go towards the main standings, the points of which you'll see a little later on. This is the two cars, as I mentioned, the M6 GT3 Endurance for the Pro drivers and the GTR for us Pro-Am drivers, being stipulated by the green and the orange depending on the class. Same as last season, though, the format, there'll be an overall teams championship between, there are 2 drivers that make up the teams from 4 drivers in total, 2 from GT1 and the second division GT2 as well. There are 2 of them. Teams 4 to 6 will be into the playoff to get to the grand finale event, as we saw at the end of last season in Spa. It'll be a different track this time around. Here's the endurance race information. That's the points makeup for the endurance race. We'll get to the sprint when we get to the actual sprint weekend, but there are more endurance races than there are sprints this time round. You saw that some of the stipulations there, and here they're the teams. So pause this if you need to have a look through, read through, to fly through this as well, to make it as quick, kind of as smooth as possible. But yeah, we're with Tom, and then Homer, who was very good at the end of last season in GT2, and then Royston then in GT2 as well. But we got Tom as a teammate, and that's going to be fascinating because Tom is the cream of the crop as far as like he is I know Witchell is very, very quick and he's a reigning champion, but Tom is just the quick, he's just the quickest I've seen, really. Anyway, you saw qualifying then. I actually didn't even improve on my first actual lap from the sessions. It was a bit of a messy qualifying, I'm going to be honest, so P10. But there's a lot, I felt like there was more in the tank, so I'm a bit disappointed by that. But anyways, here we go then. A new season, a new livery, new teammates, new format, everything to fight for this time around. Let's go. Away we go. A bit of wheel spin off the start, but not a bad start. We're going to hold position here for the most part and slide in behind Sean and Aaron, and we got Biggles and Panda behind. So the majority of the top spots were taken in qualifying by the Pro guys. Again, you can see looking at the rear wings here, the differences between the two. So we slip up the inside of SPY there ahead of Sean to get into P9, and we're behind Rom. So our class leader essentially for Pro-Am is Rom. So this is what we're going to be referencing this often throughout the season about first in class, etc. Because there's a separate standings for that, and there's this overall standings as well. So we want to do as well as we can regardless, but at least there's something to fight for. Like last season, I felt there was nothing to fight for in some ways, like other than the teams, because I was just having such a tough season, and I felt kind of lost and hopeless in the season at times. But this will give us a bit of fresh light that even though there might be some races where we're struggling, we still have something to fight for in terms of the Pro-Am Championship. So settling down into this first bit of the race, lap 2. Nice and tight here. Trial Mountain is a great track, of course. Rom goes a little bit, his entry into this back straight is a little bit compromised, so we're in a party here at Rom as well. I'm in a party with the FTRL guys for these races now. I kind of did that at the end of last season. It is very enjoyable, and just good to interact with these guys as well. So anyways, Rom's in the party, and we're going to slide the inside here. I go a little bit deep. I was trying to take some braking tips from Tom and try to trail brake a lot more on this track, and sometimes I compromise my I didn't always get this right as the tyre wear kind of progressed. Rom kind of followed in behind there. He kind of let me go there, so that was good of him. I think overall Rom was quicker in this first stint, but really it was just oh yes, so we're going to fast forward here. So there's an almighty scrap between Callum, Pagani and Aaron here. Callum basically is trying to do the one stop, and that's where he's at. You need to get 16 laps to get here. So Callum's driving accordingly to try and get those tyres 16 laps. So myself, Pagani, Aaron, Rom were all held up here considerably. Pagani gets through. I sneak around the outside. I'm thinking, holy shit, this is going to be the move of the fucking century. Around the outside. Aaron's on my left. I actually really didn't realize how close Aaron was on the inside. A bit of contact. Callum hold. I also said Callum. Callum holds around the outside. Aaron's on my right. Rom's right behind as well. I have to be so careful. There's contact, more contact from behind. There's contact from the side, and then Rom's on my inside. Almost hit. I do actually make a little bit of contact with Aaron. So we go from having almost a move of the century, going around the outside of Aaron and Callum, to then not overtaking any of them, and then losing position to Rom then as well. So helter-skelter stuff was it was hectic early on, but it was good fun this. But yeah, like Callum is desperately holding us up here. You can see the Ross, Chubbs, Witchell, Tom, they basically escape. I'm going to try and stick up the inside of Rom here, but he's going to have the better exit, and yeah, we're going to slide in behind then. So they're driving away. You can see the gap on the map is quite considerable already. And yeah, that's tough. So lap 4 again, Pagani, he's not driving away, but he's definitely, we need to get by here, and we do get by 1 because Rom has a big moment at the last corner there. So yeah, get that move done, and we need to get back into the slip of Aaron and Callum and the such in front. We don't want to drop too far behind these guys. The general difference between the BMW and the GTR is I think the BMW is probably a bit quicker in terms of like a qualifying car, but in race trim it's not as good on the tyres as the GTR here. This is my first experience of the GTR. Callum then has a big moment here, so we're going to try and get past here. And Aaron's going to go to the side here. We're going to use Aaron's slip to try and just complete this move on Callum. But I will say the GTR, I think it's a bit front heavy, but it is better on its tyres than the BMW. That much can't be denied. I think its top end speed is probably lacking a little bit in comparison. Not by much, but a little bit. Oh, shit, I can't stop. Deep on the brakes there, I couldn't stop. I was one of those where, like, if there's no one in front of me, I feel like I would have made that corner fine, but Aaron broke earlier than I thought he was going to. And yeah, so we lose a position on Callum, and that was frustrating. But at least Pagani hasn't driven away, which has been encouraging. Lap number 7. What's going to happen here? So we're on the back of Callum. You can see the gap between. You can see the gap at the front there. You can see. Oh yeah, it is what I do. Yeah, I forgot about this. So I want to get by Callum here. That's like I absolutely have to get by because, yeah, we just have to do that. So down the inside again, I'm going to try and get this line. This hairpin here. There's quite a few ways to go about it. Where Callum gets to switch back and then he gets back through. So look, give it a go. Like again, I need to get by. Like I don't want to lose too much touch from Aaron and Pagani. So the strategy here was to go. I think it was a 10. You had to get. Basically, the breakdown is 10, either 2 stints of 11 laps, and then a 10 lap stint on medium. So however you could break that. I decided to go for the move here on Callum into the inside because I knew that if I was on the inside, he'd have to yield if I put my car there. And all I had to do was just keep it somewhat straight. It's a bit of difficulty involved in that, but we do get it done. So I had to get that move done on Callum. I did. I knew that if I placed the car down the inside, then he'd have to yield because it's just, yeah, you can't really find the outside there. So we managed to extend this stint. 10 laps is good around here. Being in traffic, we managed to extend it to not just 11, but 12 laps. So this will give us flexibility later. The only thing I was a little bit frustrated by in the sense was like, damn, was that Rom, who's our direct competition for this race, also went 12. And then at the end of lap 11, when I saw we were both going for a 12th lap, I was like, damn. He's going the same as I am. So, and he jumps me. I think he was definitely quicker towards the end of the first stint was Rom, and I think he was able to fuel save a little bit behind me, and so his stop was definitely not as long as mine, and he managed to save a bit of fuel, and he jumped me in the pits. Not the best run there. I struggled with warm up on the first 2 laps, and that allowed my former teammate from last season from GT2, who's now in GT1 this season, Simon, aka FTRL Blue Flag, and I was like, look, you get the run, go for it, man. He had kind of sat back the lap before, and I didn't have the best exit there. So, anyways, he goes through then. Look at the gap to Rom. So Rom was about what, a second or so, a second and a half ahead at this point. So just make a note of that for later. Lap 17. Kind of now the tides have kind of come to me. We were undercut by a few of these guys who are going to be stopping a bit earlier than we are again. So we go around the outside of Simon there, and he hits the sides of the barrier there. I don't think I put him into that. He kind of turned in a bit too early, I think. I left as much space as I could on the outside, and we get through then. But Rom's 3 seconds up the road, and again we caught up with him towards the end of this stint. We did well in the second stint, to be fair, but I wanted to leave about 11 laps or so. I only fuel for 11 laps, you see. So yeah, that was the thing. We could have gone on a lap, but I fueled for 11. and we're gonna go 10, is it? Or do we go 10? Actually, sorry, we went 10 that middle stint, and we're gonna go 10 again. Are we? Actually, can't even remember. This is a week or two ago now. Yep, 10 laps to finish here. So, yeah, so there was always going to be a 10 lap stint somewhere. We managed to extend the first stint and make 12, 10, 10 instead of 10, 11, 11. So we did well with that. Rom is 2.5 seconds ahead. We actually managed to jump Pagani, which I was very surprised by. But Pagani was in front of us for that stint. He was really, like, he was struggling at the end of the stint. And we made up a lot of time on them. But I didn't expect to actually jump him heading into this last stint. Within a few laps, though, we've already cut the gap to a second. So our pace, this is the best. I think that was the best lap I had done, period, on the mediums, so 51.1. Sorry, no, I ended up doing a 51.0. Anyways, lap 28, Biggles is doing the one stop. So this is now for the Pro-Am victory here. Again, this is the thing, like, despite we're fighting for 6th place here, essentially on the road right now, there are some people, I think, who will need to make a stop, or catch people at one stop, rather. This is for the Pro-Am victory, so this does mean something for our own standings here as well. So Rom didn't get the best run out of this heading down to the tunnel. Biggles has still got a run. He's going to want to fight this as much as he can. I'm in the slipstream. Rom ducks over. I'm going to duck over to the left and hug this inside line, and then use Biggles, who goes a bit deep, and that compromises Rom, and we get the inside move, and that was absolutely fantastic stuff. Biggles doesn't have to yield here on the inside end. We get through. That was absolutely brilliant. I needed that. That was because Rom, we've been fighting with Rom all race long, and we get through, and now there's only 4 laps to go to the end. Here we are, last lap. We're in P6, but this is for the Pro-Am victory here, so this does mean something. We're fighting for a victory of sorts in our own class. Rom's tyres, they were better than mine at this point marginally, and he gets a little bit of a better run heading down towards here. I thought it's going to be tight this. I just need to survive this hairpin, and then we could take Pro-Am victory. We're in 6th place. It's a really good result regardless, but I want to try and keep this if I can. I thought I'd done enough to prevent the dive. He goes down the inside, has a little bit of contact. He slips through. I can't quite fight on the exit. And I knew by this stage, I knew that was it. I knew there wasn't going to be much of a chance after this. And I mean, at the time, I wasn't sure what. Like, there's a little bit of contact. He then asked me at this point, was that clean? How do you push me wide? And at the time I thought it was borderline. Like, I think that's okay, because I think he would have let me through if it was egregious. It wasn't, and even I had to admit at the time, like, in the heat of the moment, even I had to admit that it wasn't. And looking even in retrospect, it absolutely wasn't. He just got a little bit better on the brakes. But Chubbs ran out of fuel with like 4 corners to go, so we're going to gain a little extra position here. It's going to be P6. It's 2nd place for our Pro-Am category. So a good race, though, a really good race, really competitive, and the race-long battle with Rom, which was fantastic. I was frustrated to lose it at the last lap at the Pro-Am victory, but great job, though. Tom finished P3, I finished P6. We had the GT2 guys on the Thursday had a tough time of things, so they had a difficult start. So we made up some points after that difficult start. So yeah, gutted to lose the Pro-Am lead on the last lap, but like overall, just like, I feel invigorated again to fight for something, and because the back end of last season, like, it was just so difficult, and just most of last season was difficult in terms of fight for something. I just wasn't happy with the car. On an equal playing field, I was just absolutely demolished. But this time we've got a fighting chance here. Parity somewhat has been restored. So anyways, there we go then. P6 then. So excellent result then in the end. I was looking at the replays afterwards. This is the last lap. You see Rom's tyre was a bit better than mine. Sneaks down the inside. Yeah, he made it fair and square, to be fair to him. Well done, man. And yeah, so fair play to him. He made that stick. Here's the one I thought I had it done, man. Oh my goodness, this would have moved the century. I would have gasmed all over my screen with this. Round the outside, I thought I had it. It was looking good. Down the inside, Callum just had the better run the outside, and had I cleared him, I think I would have been okay. But Aaron kept down the inside then. It was very tight margins. Bit of contact and side-to-side contact. It was tight stuff, but yeah, entertaining one, action-packed one, and what a start to the season. So, well in the fight, man. And we'll have a look at the standings now to see how things stack up. So as you can see, we're in P6 obviously after the first race. Again, it's just very much as you finished really. Witchell took the victory, so fair play to him. You can see some of the team names then. We're one of the more colourful ones. So yeah, great result from Tom as well to get himself onto the podium, and Ross drove a great race as well to finish P2. Like Ross was unbelievable in this. Yeah, he's impressed me so much recently, just in general, and I've really enjoyed talking to him as well. There's the Pro-Am standing. So we get 7 points for Rom for taking class victory, 6 for myself, 5 for Panda. No Lee this week because Lee was on holiday. But Lee will be a contender, I think, in the Pro-Am. Myself, him, and Rom, I think. And the SPY will be like on his week. SPY is very quick as well. So yeah, it is going to be a very interesting one. There is the overall team standing. So the Jaeger dive bombs, again, a bit of a slow start, but we're not too far out of anything at all. So yeah, all to play for, and the top 4 to 6 go to the playoff race, so to speak, and top 3 are automatically in. Obviously, the goal is automatic qualification, so we'll be hoping to do that in relatively good speed this time around, and not leave it too late, like what happened at the end of last season, where we just snuck in at the end there to the special event. But look, absolutely loving it. I'm just loving driving again, just like because. To be fair, I think from the Nürburgring last season, it's been a little bit of a happier time, but. Yeah, but there were times last season where it just confidence was at an all-time low driving wise. I was just being demolished every week. Like last in qualifying was tough, but it was nice. It's nice to be able to get back to what I'm good at in terms of managing a race and not just pure pace kind of things. Like managing a race, the fuel, the tires. This is what I'm good at, and so I'm glad that the season leans more into that side of things. But that's going to do it for this week's edition of FTRL GT1 Week 1 at Trial Mountain. Next stop next week is the amazing Watkins Glen. We won the race last time we were there, so I'm hoping for a good result here, and I love Watkins Glen. I go well there, so fingers crossed it's going to be a good one. But yeah, thanks for watching, and until next time.